people will hit this shot, and because they're aiming too far right, they go up to hit it and they're like, oh, I can't go over there, I can't go right, so they start to swing left. So if you are really, really dialed in for the advanced class, what I can do here is hold the club face open. Do not make the mistake of taking yourself out of the hole. If your goal is to break 90, even break 85 or maybe 80, you need to be taking double bogeys out of the equation. Double bogeys are higher. So you've invested all this time, you've invested all this money, whether you've got a simulator set up or you're just going to the range a lot, spending money on rounds, and you're spending a lot of effort trying to learn how to be a better golfer. What do I need to do to improve my game? But you're just not seeing that translated into scores on the golf course. Very common problem, very common situation, and one that, quite frankly, we've been running into a lot right now as we've been taking people on the course is how are we going to apply what we do on the practice tee to shooting lower scores? We're going to go over some situational golf. This is going to be a new series, not sure if it's going to be called that or what, but we are going to go through and put us into scenarios that I see people struggle with, and let's talk about what's going on. Now, as we go through this series, one thing I kind of want to bring up is I'm going to talk about things that you want to do, all right, from a strategy standpoint, club selection, thoughts, but also from a technical standpoint. We're going to say, hey, you need to do this or you need to do that. And if you're somebody out there, you're saying, hey, I do not understand how to do that. You're telling me to do it, but I don't know how to do that, then that will identify where you need to be working on your golf swing or what you need to be working on in your golf game. So leave a comment down below, and we're going to use these videos to help you understand how to improve, because I think when you look at really good players, they actually start from the golf course backwards, saying, all right, hey, I need to be able to do this. I can't do this. I'm not feeling this out on the course. Now, how do I fix that? As opposed to, I get a lot of amateurs that come to me and they say, hey, I got to build my swing. I got to make my swing better. I got to do this. And that's what's going to make me better on the course. And yes, for some of you, your technique gets better. You will play better golf because your technique is at a level where it just needs to improve. But for a lot of people, especially if you're hitting a lot of golf balls, we need to look at it and say, all right, hey, what do we need to do? What can I do that's costing me strokes out on the golf course? So, got a common situation here. Common situation. 126 yards. We're on the 11th hole at Marion again. This is why I love simulator golf, because we can set up scenarios like this and get to working on them. Marion Golf Club, this is in Pennsylvania. Very cool looking golf course. Never played it, but looks really awesome. And we have a 126 yard shot. This one is very common for a lot of students that I play with because we have trouble on the right. We also have this creek that's kind of meandering up short of the green. So the first thing that I'm going to look at is, where is the trouble? So we just said that it's on the right side, and where can I play from? I was just out at the Live event this past week. They were here in Chicago, and it's funny, this is a golf course they play that I've played a couple hundred times. I've worked there at a couple different occasions, and it's funny to see them play it because they play the golf course so much more conservatively than I would have thought. You know, more conservative than I play it, which says something about my strategy. The number one thing that pros do when they look at a golf hole, they say, where can I not miss? What's going to take me out of the golf hole? So when I'm looking at this golf hole, I've got trouble on the right side that I cannot play from. I cannot play from there. So I need to be missing this ball somewhere to the left. I got to be playing to the left. So the first thing that they're going to do, they're going to say, all right, my target is going to shift. Even with a wedge, my target is shifting a little bit. So let's say a pro would be like right there, okay? Hitting a shot a few feet left, and then hopefully it works its way to the right. Now, when I'm working with players that are trying to break even 80 or 90, 100, the one thing they don't realize is I want this target to be over here. We need to get this golf target over here because we need to realize that we do not hit the ball laser straight. Nobody does. We have what's called a dispersion pattern. So when I'm going to hit this shot, my dispersion pattern would be, if I aim here, all of my golf balls are going to end up inside of a circle, basically. Where do I need to aim it so the least amount of shots end up in that hazard. And since that hazard is the really bad part, and we can play from the bunker and we can play from the left rough, we need to pick a target so none of our shots end up in the hazard. It's the one thing that's going to kill our score, and it takes you out of the hole. Now, the other thing that we look at when we look at this target is we need to be able to carry a certain distance. So we can see on our target, we have 109 yards to the front. So if I aim a little bit left, I actually get that 109. If I start going at the pin, I have more of a carry to get to the pin. That is not something that I want. I need to allow for maximum forgiveness. We need to be able to play a shot where we can hit it and make sure that golf ball is covering that 109. Now, some of you might say, well, what about the creek that's way short? Well, if that's an issue from here, then that is a technical issue. That's a contact issue, and we need to work on that. So if you're struggling with that part, let me know down in the comments. But we need to be aiming at that left side, because if I chunk this slightly, which does happen, if I just hit it a little thin, you know, whatever it is, toe ball, it's going to come up short of my intended distance, and I need to make sure I'm still covering some hazard here. So that is the big thing here. We need to be going over here, and a lot of people say, oh, I've got a wedge in hand, or I've got a short iron, I got to be attacking, I got to go make birdie. The one thing that we got to realize is we do not make birdies. We make pars, we make bogeys, we make doubles, and we make others. Birdies just happen. Birdies happen through the random luck of the game, a good putt, a good up and down. When we hit the ball close, let's say on a par 5 or a really short par 4, that is when birdies happen. But we don't make them. People make so many mistakes because they say, I'm going to make a birdie. And then that chance at a birdie that you still have to hit a good shot, then you still have to make the putt, that ends up costing us as we go through, because we end up hitting it right, we end up making double, we end up making triple. So trying to gain that extra shot costs us 3 or 4. That just doesn't add up in math terms, right? So I see people do this all the time. We need to be playing more to the left. Now, club selection. This shot here, no wind on this one. We have 125, 126 yards, playing slightly downhill, basically nothing. Pretty, flat shot here. So the first thing we got to look at is I've got to have the minimum cover of my distance. So 110 is what we said to the front edge of the green. In reality, I want to have at least 120 on this shot. I need to be able to, if you are dead set, I need to hit a 120-yard shot. Now, for me, that is a gap wedge. I can hit my gap wedge 120 yards. But that is if I hit it absolutely perfect and nothing goes wrong. It doesn't ride up the face. I don't get any debris within the club. All of these things that you don't think about but are very random when we're playing golf. So for me, there's not enough room for air to hit that shot. So I need to go more. I have a little pitching wedge now. So I've got my pitching wedge out. Now, this club goes 140. That is not obviously what we're going to try to do, but it is a little bit of a knockdown or a little bit of a tweener shot here. So just with that alone, I also need to play more left, because this ball is going to come in a little lower. It's going to want to release. And so let's say I want to get it close to the hole. I would really need to be flirting with that front edge and be, possibly going in the water. That's the absolute worst thing that we could do. So I'm going to go with a pitching wedge. Now, I'll knock a couple of yards off it when I hit this. I'm going to move the ball forward, hit it a little higher. That takes some yards off. I'm also going to choke down slightly as we hit it. And the other thing that I'm going to do is when I hit this, I will just act like I'm kind of throwing a ball. I like to just look at my target and feel out a practice swing, get a feel for what is it like if I was just to throw a ball at it, kind of get a feel for what size swing that I want to make at this. So I get my club and I get the shot that I want to do. Now, when it comes time to actually execute this shot, this is where I think a lot of people get this wrong. So I see people do this all the time. A lot of it comes from the bad target right off the bat. Again, people aim at the flag. Oh, I've got a wedge. I've got to aim at the flag. So what do? They tend to keep the club face open. All right. First thing here is we know if we keep it open, we're going to start the ball too far right. And if we keep it open, it's going to want to slice across the ball. So we're going to hit it higher. We're going to hit it spinny, and it's going to want to leak right. that means the ball is going to tend to want to come up short right. That is a terrible result for this shot. Now, the other thing that happens is people will hit this shot, and because they're aiming too far right, they go up to hit it and they're like, oh, I can't go over there. I can't go right. So they start to swing left. You combine that with an open face, we are now slicing this golf ball into the target. So they're trying to swing away from the trouble, but that ends up sending the ball at the trouble. That's a key concept here. So again, I want to pick a conservative target, but what I'm going to do here is I got my sizing, I got my club. I'm going to make sure as I hit this that I close the face. I have to let the face release here. No holding on this shot. I do not want to hold this. The second thing I need to do, I need to swing at the trouble. Now, we are only hitting a wedge, but if I swing at the trouble, that's going to make the ball want to curve a little bit back to the target. Now, it will start possibly a little right. That's a possibility. But because I'm closing the face and I'm getting the club to release, if it starts at little right, it might draw back. It's never going to curve at my target. But I can hit this short little shot, and with a short iron, I tend to just push it, and actually my shot's going to be getting a little closer to the hole, but I'm never going to be in danger of going in the water. Okay, so we're going to get the shot. Ball's a little forward for me. I choke up just a touch, feel out my distance. We're going to release the club and swing at the trouble. So as I come through, I'm going to feel like I'm swinging out towards the water. Okay, so a little bit of a pull. Here's the good news with the pull. You almost saw I almost got it on the green, but people will say, oh, that's a terrible shot. It's not in the water. It's not in the water. I actually have a relatively easy bunker shot as we go through. So I can get that ball out. Probably going to run just down to the hole. I need to just splash it on the green, and then that ball is going to go down to the hole. Now, why did it start a little too left? Well, if we take a look up at our numbers, you can see my club path a little bit to the left. I'd like to swing a little bit more out, but that face just released a little bit too much for me. Now, I'm pretty good at releasing the face. So for me, I'm going to feel like it's a little more normal as we go here. And let's swing a little bit more out if we can. Very good there. So that's a more normal shot for me. You can see I hit it a little long, but because I have a good target, I am in a good spot to play from. Okay? Now, that is how we would play this if we're going for the advanced class, right? Now, again, I'm hitting a half shot. These are a little bit tricky, so this isn't a go number. But let's say I wanted to really, hey, I'm hitting it a little long because I have a little too much club. One other thing that we can do is I'm going to hold this face just a little bit open. So if you are really, really dialed in for the advanced class, what I can do here is hold the club face open, and what will happen is, again, it's not going to really curve. It's hard to curve a wedge, but it'll take a few more yards off of this, but it'll also, when the ball hits the green, it's going to spin towards the hole. It's going to want to. So if we have any slope on the green, which typically slopes go towards the water, that's typically how it goes, you will see this ball hit and then spin towards the hole. This is a big way that pros will get the ball close without doing any trouble. So on this one, we're just going to hold the club face open a little bit. But I'm still swinging right at my trouble. I'm still swinging at the trouble. And you can see I can bring some yardage down on this golf ball. Hits the green, it starts trickling a little right, and then we go from there. So I can work my way through. If I was in this scenario, where would I want to play this golf shot? So again, got our target. I would pick the target there, and I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to swing at my trouble, but I'm just going to hold the face a little bit open as we go. So I'm playing kind of like this little sawed-off shot, trying to cut a few yards. Again, this is going to be your advanced class. This is going to be, hey, I know how to release the face. I know how to control it. And I also know how to control my club path so I can start dialing some distance down off of this golf ball. So you can see I've got it at 123 carry. That's a pretty good shot from this one. Again, I don't have a perfect number. And this is another thing that when we're going through situations, everybody says, oh, I've got a short iron, I should be knocking it close. If you have a right club and you have the club where it's a perfect swing, you would think about it. But again, everything would need to go right, and I still think people play this too aggressively, where I would need this shot to be, for me, honestly, I would need it to be about 112 or so, where I could hit a full gap wedge, do my little hold the face so it spins right, and I need to hit it hard so I generate enough spin so the ball spins in close to the hole. That's how this ball would get close. Otherwise, I'm hitting too soft of a shot. I'm not generating enough spin because I have to do that. And so this ball is going to hit, it's going to release, and I just have to take what I get. Again, if I roll in a putt, great, but do not make the mistake of taking yourself out of the hole. If your goal is to break 90, even break 85 or maybe 80, you need to be taking double bogeys out of the equation. Double bogeys are higher. So if I hit it in the water, double is very much in play. Bogeys are okay. If I hit it in the water, bogey becomes almost impossible. If I hit it in the bunker, bogey is very, very much in play, and par is still possible. If I hit it in the rough, same thing. If I hit it on the green, pars are very much impossible, and then birdies can happen too. So if you're someone that's trying to break 75, you're trying to break even into under par, you just need to make sure that you're not making bogey avoidance is the number one thing that's going to help you there. So you can hit the ball a little bit left on the green, but you're not going to, it's highly unlikely you're going to make a bogey as you do this. So let me know if you like these types of videos, getting on course a little bit. Let's talk through some shots and as we're playing. And again, we had some technical notes through there. If that's something that you struggle with, you need to work on, let me know in the comments, and we'll have some videos on how to develop those skills and those techniques so you can improve, and then you can get out there and think. This is way more fun to me when you're thinking about golf and how to play it, as opposed to just constantly hoping that your swing is good and seeing what you got. So let me know if you have any questions about it. And as always, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.